Coming up, we're verifying if using tap to pay with your credit or debit cards could actually be costing you an additional fee. Plus, is it true that some countries won't allow you to travel there even if your passport is still valid and hasn't expired yet? We'll have that answer. And Ozempic is a popular diabetes drug now being used for weight loss, but that's making it difficult for some people to get their hands on. We're verifying if knockoff brands are safe to use. Thanks so much for joining us for our Verify special. I'm Marcella Lee. All year long, our Verify team has been working for you, answering your questions on all things from politics to health topics to identifying if viral photos and videos are actually real. One thing many of us are starting to use these days is tap to pay. It's the feature on your credit or debit card that allows you to simply tap the register with your card to pay. But now there are claims that feature could cost you an extra fee. Our Ariane Till verifies.
When you're checking out at the store, you may have noticed an option for tap to pay. It's a contactless way to purchase items. You just bring your card or mobile payment app close to the card reader and the transaction goes through. A post with several hundred likes and comments on Threads claimed that tap to pay comes with additional fees that customers would not otherwise be charged if they insert or swipe their card. But is that true? Let's verify using these sources. All of the banks we looked at explicitly state that there is no additional cost, fee, or charge for using the contactless payment method over any other method of paying with their cards. According to the National Retail Federation, businesses have to pay card processors a fee of about 2.5% whenever they process a credit card payment. Some businesses pass this fee onto their customers, either by adding a surcharge or by discounting cash payments. But the NRF says the fee is the same regardless of whether the card is inserted, tapped, waived, or used via mobile device. So we can verify, no, customers are not charged an extra fee to use tap to pay. In theory, a business could choose to add a higher fee for contactless payments, but it's not because it costs them more to process that kind of payment method. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till for CBS 8.
It is a busy travel season and everyone likes to save money on flights. Here's Brandon Lewis to verify if waiting to buy your airline tickets on certain days of the week could save you more.
There is nothing I like better than finding a great deal on travel. And it turns out I'm not alone. Verify viewer Catherine emailed us to ask, is there a certain day of the week that's cheapest to buy a plane ticket? So Catherine, let's verify. Our sources are Scott's Cheap Flights, a study by cheapair.com, and Brett Snyder, president of Cranky Concierge Travel Assistance and a former airline pricing analyst. Some studies suggest Tuesday or Saturdays are the cheapest days to buy tickets, but all of our sources say they usually rely on flawed or outdated data. For example, some articles suggest that weekends are the cheapest days to buy. Snyder points out that's based on data that tracks the average amount spent on a ticket each day of the week. Families tend to buy their tickets on weekends and usually purchase less expensive tickets. Meanwhile, business travelers tend to buy their tickets during the week, and many are less price sensitive.
A lot of the business travel, premium cabin or even last minute or whatever it might be, those tend to be higher fares.
The end result is a study that has skewed data. Similar articles suggest Tuesdays offer the best deals, but our sources say that's also not the case. Scott's Cheap Flights explains on its site that this idea is a holdover from the 1990s when airlines used to upload special e-fares on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. These days, Snyder says airlines use sophisticated algorithms to consistently adjust fares based on demand, regardless of what day of the week it is.
This hasn't existed for years. I couldn't tell you the last time when those actually were out there in the market.
So we can verify, no, there is not a certain day of the week that's cheapest to buy a plane ticket. So when should you book? Cheapair.com found domestic tickets are generally cheapest 3 to 15 weeks before departure. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis for CBS 8.
Sometimes you got to check every day. Thanks so much, Brandon. Speaking of traveling, a woman posted a video that went viral claiming she could not travel internationally because her passport was going to expire in 5 months.
To get to the airport to be told that you can't fly.
Passports are typically valid for 10 years, but do some countries actually require you to have at least 6 months left on your passport to travel? Let's verify. Our sources are the U.S. State Department, several U.S. embassies, and the embassies of the United Arab Emirates and Mexico. While your passport does have an expiration date, many countries require you to renew it several months before visiting, mainly to avoid your passport expiring while you're abroad. The rules do vary on where you're going. The woman in the video was flying to the United Arab Emirates, which requires passports to remain valid for 6 months after the passenger's arrival. That's the same policy as many other countries, including China, India, and Thailand. But that is not the case for Mexico. Mexico only requires your passport must be valid during the entirety of your trip. We've been seeing a lot of issues with planes these days and a lot of videos of extreme turbulence in the news, with some people claiming online that severe turbulence is happening more often. Our Brandon Lewis is back here to verify that.
Summer travel can certainly have its share of bumps, including in the skies when planes encounter turbulence. As more people take their vacations, some are claiming they're encountering more turbulence. But is that actually happening? Let's verify. Our sources are the Federal Aviation Administration, the National Transportation Safety Board, the National Weather Service, the UK Meteorological Office, and Shem Malmquist, an airline captain and instructor at Florida Tech's College of Aeronautics. Turbulence is caused by a change in air movement because of different weather conditions. A study published by the American Geophysical Union found the strongest category of turbulence increased by 55% between 1979 and 2020, and is likely to get worse in the decades ahead. Researchers blamed climate change for making weather conditions more severe, which increases the likelihood of your flight encountering turbulence.
We are seeing some more severe cases, and that really is an outcome of a warming planet.
At the same time, the aviation industry is getting better at predicting turbulence and being proactive at avoiding the worst of it when possible. NTSB data shows out of the millions of people who fly in the U.S. annually, an average of 12 are injured every year by turbulence.
If it's bad enough, and we avoid that, and that's fortunately even now very, very rare to encounter something like that.
So, yes, turbulence is increasing, but airlines are taking steps to avoid it. Malmquist says the safest thing you can do is to ensure your seatbelt is fastened whenever you're seated. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis for CBS 8.
Thanks, Brandon. Coming up, there are videos circulating on TikTok that say drinking the energy drink Celsius could cause you to test positive on a drug test. We'll verify if that's true. Ozempic and similar diabetes drugs are now being used for weight loss, and they've become so popular it can be hard to get your hands on them. Now, knockoffs are hitting the market. Ariane Till looks into whether or not these knockoffs are safe.
People who have struggled with weight loss are turning to drugs like Ozempic and Wegovy, which contain semaglutide as the active ingredient to help shed those extra pounds. But accessibility has been an issue. The drugs are expensive and often in short supply due to their popularity. That has caused some people to look at knockoff versions. You may have even seen some ads for them pop up on social media. But are there safety concerns with buying knockoff weight loss drugs? Let's verify using these sources. 3 semaglutide products are FDA approved: the Ozempic injection, Ribelsis tablets, and the Wegovy injection. They are only available with a prescription, and there are no approved generic versions. If you buy a knockoff, you could receive either a counterfeit or a compounded form of the drug. Our sources say there are safety concerns for both. The WHO issued a warning about counterfeit forms of Ozempic in June 2024, saying they may have an undeclared active ingredient that could lead to an unpredictable range of health risks or complications. In December 2023, the FDA said it had seized thousands of counterfeit units of Ozempic with needles that may not have been sterile. So what about compounded versions of these drugs? Pharmacists and doctors can make compounded drugs by combining, mixing, or altering the same active ingredients to make a personalized form of a drug for a patient. But medical experts recommend that people avoid taking compounded versions of weight loss drugs because they aren't FDA approved, which means the feds can't vouch for their safety and effectiveness. And some may contain a different active ingredient altogether that isn't listed. So we can verify, yes, there are safety concerns with buying knockoff weight loss drugs. With your Verify, I'm Ariane Till.
Have you ever had a Celsius energy drink? Several videos on TikTok claim that drinking it will cause you to test positive on a drug test.
This one, it tested positive for amphetamines, benzos, and cocaine.
Let's verify if that's true. Our sources are Celsius, an independent drug test conducted by Verify, GoodRx, and the peer-reviewed science website Health Feedback. Celsius drinks contain several additives that the company claims improves athletic performance. Those include taurine, guarana extract, green tea leaf extract, and glucuronolactone. Our Verify team analyzed multiple reports and studies and found no scientific evidence that any of those ingredients could generate a positive drug test. Our Verify team even tested it for themselves, following the same steps as the viral TikToks, and there were no positive results. So we can verify, no, Celsius energy drinks will not cause you to test positive for drugs. Have you seen these amazing images of pink dolphins off the coast of North Carolina circulating on social media? The images are hard to believe, and maybe rightfully so. So we're verifying if these are actually images of a pink dolphin. Well, pink dolphins do exist. The North Carolina Department of Marine Fisheries says it is unaware of any pink dolphins in the area. And NOAA tells our Verify team the viral images are fake. They say the images were likely edited or AI generated. So we can confirm, no, these images do not show actual pink dolphins. They are pretty, though. Coming up, there are hacks going viral online that claim they will keep your house warmer while saving you some money. Our Verify team looks into those. Living in San Diego, we are used to the warm weather here, so when it does get cold, we can be quick to crank up the heaters. Our Verify team is sharing ways you can save some money and energy during the cooler months.
Frigid winter temperatures are here, and with record high energy prices, you might think twice before cranking up the heat. So we looked into some common questions about whether things people do to stay warm are really a hot idea. First up, does turning your thermostat way up heat your home faster? Our sources are the U.S. Department of Energy, the Environmental Protection Agency, Black Hills Energy, and HVAC maker Glen Dimplex. Furnaces have just two settings, on and off. They rely on a thermostat to know how long to stay on. Cranking the temperature up from 60 to 70 will only make your furnace run longer, but it won't heat your home any faster because it only has one setting, on, whether it's trying to increase the temperature 1 degree or 10 degrees. So no, turning the thermostat way up won't heat your home any faster. Next up, can window treatments help save you money? The Energy Department estimates in an average home, 1/3 of heat is lost through the windows. You can prevent some of that from happening by keeping the drapes or shades closed at night because they act as an extra layer of insulation between your home and the windows. This helps keep up to 10% more heat inside your home, which can lower your energy bill. So, yes, window treatments can help save you money. Finally, ceiling fans are a great way to stay cool, but can they also help keep your home warm? In the summer, you should set your fans to rotate counterclockwise to blow air down. This helps sweat evaporate and makes you feel cooler. In the winter, the Energy Department recommends reversing your fan so it spins clockwise and then using the lowest setting. This pulls up the cool air and displaces warm air that's near the ceiling. So, yes, ceiling fans can help keep your home warm. We featured even more answers to questions about staying warm this winter on VerifyThis.com. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis for CBS 8.
When you've had an alcoholic drink, you've probably felt warmer. So there's a belief that drinking alcohol can help you stay warmer outdoors on a cold day. Let's verify. So alcohol does not actually increase your body temperature. Instead, it makes your heart rate increase and makes your blood vessels wider, tricking your body into thinking it's overheating. The process moves heat from your core to your skin. So the answer is no. Alcohol does not keep you warmer. It can actually cool you down. If you like to cook, you've likely made something that called for vanilla extract made from real vanilla beans, which can be expensive. To cut costs, you can use artificial vanilla, but people have warned for years that this artificial flavoring is made from the secretions of the anal glands of beavers. So is that true? Let's verify. In the early 20th century, Smithsonian Magazine said castoreum, which comes from beavers' glands, was used to add a vanilla raspberry flavor. But a food scientist our Verify team spoke with, Brian Kwok Lee, says this is no longer common.
So expensive and so challenging, and the concentrations are fairly low. in these beaver glands, it's really not worth it to produce any kind of flavoring from them.
Well, that's good to know, isn't it? So where does the imitation flavor come from? It oftentimes comes from vanillin, which comes from plant materials that taste like real vanilla at a fraction of the cost. Our Verified team has given you tips all year on how to stay safe in the heat. Still ahead, we'll share ways you can also keep your pets safe next. Some of us like cooler temperatures, but here in San Diego, we're able to enjoy the beach and sometimes the pool year-round. Our Verified team is working to keep you safe while you're outside, so here are some reminders. Let's start with pool safety. Some viewers have asked if arm floaties or inflatable flotation devices prevent a child from drowning. The answer is no. The CDC says floaties, armbands, or water wings do not prevent children from drowning and can easily slip off, especially when kids jump into the water. A U.S. Coast Guard approved life jacket is more protective. Next, viewers have asked if pool drains can be dangerous if you swim too close to them. This answer is yes, they can be. Pool safety advocacy group Collins Hope warns that drain covers that are cracked, broken, or missing could lead to serious safety issues, including hair or body parts becoming trapped in pool drains or being held down by suction. However, in 2008, the Virginia Graham-Baker Pool and Spa Safety Act went into effect that requires all pool drains to have covers and additional new protections to prevent drain entrapment. And of course, we tell you time and time again to make sure you're being careful with your kids and your pets in the heat. Here's Brandon Lewis with 3 Verify Fast Facts.
When we're doing almost anything to keep ourselves cool, our dogs are also panting just as much as we're sweating. So here are 3 fast facts about hot weather and dogs. First, a viral Facebook post warns owners should avoid giving their dogs ice cubes because it can cause their body temperature to increase. So let's verify. Is it dangerous to give ice cubes to dogs? These are our sources. You've probably seen dogs lapping up water after playing on a hot day, but the American Kennel Club warns if they drink too much water at once, it can cause water intoxication, which can lead to vomiting, bloat, and, in severe cases, can be deadly. Instead, they recommend giving dogs ice cubes to slow their water intake until they're calmer, while also helping to safely reduce their body temperature. The Kennel Club says claims that ice cubes can increase a dog's body temperature are not true. So, no, it is not dangerous to give ice cubes to dogs. Next, you know the expression, "it's so hot you can fry an egg on the street"? Remember, dogs walk on that same street barefoot. So, can hot asphalt injure a dog's feet? These are our sources. On a picture-perfect 70-degree day, then your dog is fine to walk on the pavement. But the American Kennel Club says if it's hotter than 85 degrees outside, then the asphalt is likely too hot. This is because asphalt absorbs heat. At 85 degrees, the pavement can be as hot as 135 degrees. And at 100 degrees, vet Ed Faulkner says pavement can reach 160 degrees. Those temperatures are hot enough to cause blisters and burns on your dog's paws. Shallowford Animal Hospital recommends putting your hand on the ground, and if it's too hot for you to keep it there for 10 seconds, then it's too hot for your dog. So, yes, hot pavement can injure a dog's feet. Finally, while we're talking about paws, have you seen posts like these claiming dogs sweat through their paws? So, let's verify using these sources. The American Kennel Club says dogs have 2 types of sweat glands. The ones on their bodies release pheromones, but not sweat. This is because most dogs are covered in fur, which wouldn't allow the sweat to evaporate and keep them cool. The other type of gland is on their paws, and those release a bit of sweat. So, yes, dogs do sweat through their paws, but it's not the primary way they stay cool. That would be through panting, according to Dr. Faulkner, which causes moisture to evaporate from their tongues, nose, and lungs. Dogs still rely on their humans for help when it's hot, so it's important to watch for the signs of heat exhaustion, like excessive panting or drooling, dizziness or weakness, and then get them indoors and give them cool water, or a few ice cubes. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
Good to know. Thanks so much, Brandon. Well, that will do it for us this time. Thank you so much for watching our Verify special. For CBS 8, I'm Marcella Lee.